citizens a direct voice in surface laws and government policies reflecting the progressive era values that influenced Arizona's constitution when it was adopted in 1912. Let's start with the basic definitions. An initiative is a process that allows citizens to propose new laws or constitutional amendments. If supporters gather enough valid signatures from registered voters, the proposed measure is placed directly on the ballot for voters to decide. A referendum, on the other hand, gives voters the powers to approve or reject laws that have already been passed by the state legislature. In other words, while the initiative creates new laws, the referendum challenges and confirms existing ones. Now let's look at how each process works. For an initiative, citizens must first draft a proposal and file it with the Secretary of State, then begin collecting signatures. For statutory initiatives, the number must equal at least 10% of the votes cast in the most recent election. For constitutional amendment, the, the requirements raises to 15% if the signatures are validated. The proposal agrees on the next general election ballot for voters to decide. For referendum, citizens can petition to refer a law passed by legislation to the voters before it takes effect. They must gather signatures enough to 5% of the votes casted in the last governor's race. If successful, the law is paused until the people vote on it in the next election. Next, let's compare and contrast the two. Before the initiative, the referendum empowers voters and bypass the legislation, promoting accountability and transparency. However, the key difference lies in timing and purpose. Initiatives and proactive. They create laws. Referendum is reactive. They challenge laws. Additionally, initiatives often require more signatures and more organization because they propose something new. Our referendums focus on opposing legislation already passed. Now let's consider the pros and cons of each. The pros of initiatives. They give citizens a direct way to enhance or change lawmakers that are not responsible. They can address popular issues that politicians avoid for political reasons, and they strengthen civil engagement and increase voter participation. Cons of initiative. They can be influenced by wealthy interest groups that fund signature drives and campaigns. They are complex policies, issues that may be oversimplified for voters. Once passed, initiatives can be difficult for the legislature to amend or repeal. The pros of referendums. They provide a check of legislative power, preventing unpopular or rushed laws from taking effect. They allow citizens to directly express their approval and disapproval of government actions. Cons of referendums. Organizing a referendum requires quick mobilization and funding within a small window. Like initiatives, they can be influenced by special interests or misinformation. Finally, let's connect these direct democracies within the Arizona Constitution. Article 4, Part 1 of the Arizona Constitution establishes both the initiative and referendum as initial tools for people. This reflects the progressive belief that citizens should have the power to legislate directly rather than solely on elected representatives. In this way, Arizona's founders ensured that the people remain the ultimate source of political authority. These policies make Arizona, one of the states most committed to direct democracy by giving voters the ability to write, approve, and reject laws. The initiative and referendum reinforce the idea that government should serve the will of the people, not the other way around. In conclusion, the initiative and referendum processes in Arizona represent the heart of citizen participation. They remind us that democracy is not just elected officials, but about maintaining an active and informed voice in shaping public policies. Thank you for listening.